Rob Thomas with Club and Resort Business, and welcome to another episode of Club and Resort Talks. Today's episode is sponsored by Tropitone. Tropitone manufactures beautifully crafted, time-tested outdoor furniture for the world's most luxurious resorts and hotels. Since 1954, Tropitone has been a leader of high-quality outdoor furniture and decor. Products are manufactured to a commercial grade for hospitality, multifamily, and club markets. Tropitone is headquartered in Irvine, California, with bi-coastal manufacturing in Irvine and Sarasota, Florida. Learn more at tropitone.com. Now that we got that out of the way, let me introduce you to Phil Keren, our senior editor. Phil, how's it going?
I'm doing well, Rob. How are you?
Terrific. No complaints. Got a little snowy day here today.
We do.
School's out for a lot of the kids. I'm not sure about down your way.
Yes, it is. It is out. They called it, actually, they called it last night, even before all the snow started falling, which, as I'm watching things now, it probably was a good idea. I think this morning I thought, wow, that was kind of jumping the gun, but more snow kind of continues to fall out here. So,
well, my son enjoyed honoring Martin Luther King with a day off on Monday. And then the school had teachers work day on Tuesday. So no school on Tuesday. Wednesday, he went back to school. No, Wednesday was the cold day, no school.
yes, we had off as well. Wednesday, cold day, correct.
Yeah, yesterday he went back to school and today no school. So 1 day work week for my little fella.
My son had 2 days this week. Yes, well, he's a high school senior. Not so much a little fella anymore, but yes, he had 2 days, and he was ready to party when he heard about it last night.
Woohoo, yes.
Right.
We get the call late, so little man was already in bed, but he was happy to hear that he didn't have to wake up early.
Yeah, there you go. Excellent.
Hey, what's going on in the news? What are you seeing on clubandresortbusiness.com?
Well, one thing I wanted to mention, we posted this week a story, preview story about we have two big golf industry conferences coming up this month. PGA Show, January 23rd to 26th in Orlando, Florida at the Orange County Convention Center. And then in another week, we'll have the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America Conference and Trade Show, January 29th to February 1st at the Phoenix Convention Center out in Phoenix, Arizona. So just wanted to mention those real quick. The shows, I know back to the PGA Show, Sherry Major had told me that they're anticipating nearly 1,000 different golf brands and companies exhibiting. As of a few days ago, I checked it. They were up to 992. So that's looking good. And the big word for this year's PGA Show is more. They're going to have, more participating companies, more exhibit space, pavilion enhancements. There's also going to be a concert coming up this year. So that should be the PGA Show Winter Jam with country music star Jake Owen is going to be there on January 25th. And of course, they'll have some of the programs or expected events. The demo and fitting day is January 23rd, the AGM Retail Conference on January 23rd also, the PGA Fashion Show on the 24th, PGA Education Conference on January 25th. So it should be a great event, and I know a lot of people who watch and listen to our podcast are looking forward to it.
Yeah, fantastic show. I've been many times. Unfortunately, you and I are not going this year because, one deadline was scheduled for that particular week or coming up. And also we have the GCSAA show in Phoenix the following week. So a lot going on. This is a busy time for the industry, obviously.
It is, absolutely. And as you mentioned, yes, we are going to be at the GCSAA show in Phoenix here at the end of the month. It should be exciting. I got to go to my first show last year, which actually was in Orlando. And we had a great time there and got to meet with a lot of folks within the industry. And I know this year, Mike Strauss, who's the media relations manager for GCSAA, mentioned that they had about 11,000 people attend last year, and they are already projecting attendance about 8% higher than last year. So should be great. I know they're going to, once again, offer a lot of the same programs we saw before. I think the sustainability showcase might be very interesting because if we've talked about in the program a lot, Rob, I think we know that for golf courses in the industry, that challenge is going to continue as far as continuing to offer a lot of great venues for the game of golf, but you always have to balance that with being sustainable, environmentally sensitive. So I am looking forward to seeing that showcase when we go to the event out in Arizona later in the month.
Yeah, we got a lot of friends. I know we're looking forward to visiting several booths.
Mhm.
My buddy Darius at John Deere,
Yes,
Josh at Toro. I mean, so many people, so many friends. And it's good to catch up, hopefully more than once a year, but certainly once a year minimum.
absolutely. Absolutely. It should be great. I know I've been already hearing from some folks who are invited us to visit with them at their booths. And I guess I would mention if there's anybody listening, watching, us to stop by, you can certainly drop us a line. I'm at pkeren at wtwhmedia.com, or to Rob as well at rthomas at wtwhmedia.com.
Yeah, drop us a line. Let us know. Our schedules are fairly open still, but we certainly will stop by the booth, even if time is tight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, looking forward to that as well. And I guess shifting gears a little bit, Rob, to the news this week. Um, saw a couple stories that were, I mean, hey, all the stories are interesting, but what couple that piqued my interest were in Minnesota. There's a new racket club that's opened in Mendota Heights, Minnesota. I hope I'm saying that right. Called the Heights Racket and Social Club. It's actually opened by a gentleman named Chris Hilger, who's CEO of the company Securian. And he and a group of friends, who I guess, as I understand it, met through a squash club that they'd been playing in for several years. They've now opened up a racket facility there, uh, which will featuring pickleball courts and the first padel court as well. So kind of an exciting thing to see there. Because as I understand it too, the neat thing about the story was this group of people, Chris and other friends of his, they'd been playing in the squash group for a while. And the place where they were going to was going to close up. So um, they then, I guess, long story short, before we know it, they're getting together here, putting together drawings and figuring out a way to open up this facility that will offer racket sports, and again, pickleball and the state of Minnesota's first padel court. So kind of a
I
cool
guess
story.
from what I understand, reading the article, they said it's more warehouse than country club.
Yes.
So a casual atmosphere, nothing, no frills, but a good time. I saw like an observation area. I think there was table tennis up there as well. You know, places to gather and just kind of hang out and be with friends.
Right, absolutely. And believe also saw, yeah, a little bit of a fitness center going on there as well. So there's more than just the racket sports to do there. And just thought it was a nice story, nice way to see. And of course, pickleball, we've talked about the excitement with that, and the popularity seems to be on the rise all the time. But I think we talked about that in our last podcast, that perhaps pickleball is even kind of feeding into generating interest among other racket sports as well, especially ones that are newer to the United States.
Yeah, we've heard a lot that, I mean, pickleball is the fastest growing sport in America. Padel apparently is the fastest growing globally. And so it's great that they're going to have a court there in Minnesota. We also ran an article on the news or on the website about Paddle House, Haus, and Santiago Gomez. I think they got 3 locations now in the Brooklyn area in New York City. And now he's starting to look globally, or at least expanding nationally,
Mhm.
to really kind of grow the sport and grow his business. And I think we're going to have him on the podcast next week. So looking forward to talking to Santiago and learning more about what Paddle House is doing.
Absolutely. Sounds great. The other one to mention that piqued my interest story-wise this week was um, the 9-hole reversible golf course that we're seeing out in or down in Palmetto Bluff, South Carolina. I thought that was a great. It's a layout from King Collins Golf Course Design, and it's kind of a course where it. I like the phrase in the article where it's mentioned "choose your own adventure golf course." I don't know if Rob, you remember. I'll put you on the spot here. You remember the "Choose Your Own Adventure" books when you and I were younger, back in the 1980s? I guess we're going back to now. Um, they were fun, where essentially you got to choose where your the person you were following, the main character in the book, would go. It could be a lot of different types of adventures. So same thing happening with golf courses here with this. I guess it's the layout, depending on where you're playing from, you could end up playing for a 1,000-yard course or a 3,100-yard course. A mix of par 3, par 4, and par 5 holes, and really looks like a neat setup out there, down there, and certainly a course I would like to try. We've talked a lot about places trying to offer different entry points or different experiences with the game of golf that's different than the traditional approach, and I just feel like it's another example of that. And it'll be interesting to see if other golf clubs or even country clubs decide to follow suit with that.
Yeah, King Collins first came to note with Sweetens Cove. That's the darling, right? So that's the 9-hole course that the whole world is kind of rotating around. And this new course down in South Carolina seems like it's going to be on par with Sweetens Cove, and certainly every bit it's equal. So you're actually looking forward to getting down there and trying that one out for ourselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. I should also mention too, you were talking about possibly having a podcast guest with the racket sports area. I was also looking to seeking out a follow-up interview with the folks with grass clippings out in Arizona, who had opened up essentially a night golf course, if you will. Wanted to check in with them to see how that was going out in Tempe. And I know they started operating on, I believe it was on December 1st. So we're hoping to hear from them, hoping to find out how that's going so far. Sounds exciting. It's a lighted golf course, nighttime golf happening there on a regular basis out in Arizona, which, as we've talked about in the past with the weather there, nighttime golf sounds like a great opportunity. And of course, for people's work schedules too, hey, it's an opportunity to play golf at a different time than what you're accustomed to doing.
Yeah, let's bring them on. Let's get them back on the podcast and get an update. I'd love to see how the beginning is gone, and also I wouldn't mind having them on a third time, assuming we get them on a second time, to in the summer, see how things are going. If it's continuing the popularity, once the sun goes down, T-balls go up down there. So exciting times across the industry, but certainly looking forward to hearing more about grass clippings and other properties.
Yeah, absolutely. And it will be interesting to see what happens with it. Yes, when summertime comes around out there, to see how that goes, to see if, just curious to see whether they can still, what kind of a crowd they get for it. When I would imagine even at nighttime, the temperatures can still be pretty hot and perhaps uncomfortable to play golf. So we'll see how that works out for them. I certainly hope it does work out the best for them.
Yeah, hey, that's fantastic. Hey, let's cut it off here, because enough of you and me, right? We don't want to see us. I want to talk to Alicia Nissel from she's the GM of the Downtown Clubs in Houston, Texas. She's going to talk about trends for 2024, attracting and retaining members, and much, much more. So enough of you and me, Phil. Let's get to Alicia, and we'll go from there. Hello, hey, welcome back to the podcast. I have Alicia Nissel, General Manager of the Downtown Clubs in Houston, Texas. Alicia, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Rob. Happy to do it.
We'd love having you on here. If you could, please give us a little an elevator pitch. Tell us about your clubs a little bit.
Sure. So we are part of the Invited Club family, previously Club Corp, and we have two premier fitness and racket clubs that are in downtown Houston. So we have a state-of-the-art fitness center. We have 10 indoor tennis courts at the Met, which is one of our clubs. We are, family oriented as well. We have a great kids club. We have wonderful restaurants. Center Club, which is the other club a mile away, also downtown, has a great private event space. Still a state-of-the-art fitness center, great group studios, Pilates, and we do have squash, racquetball, and spa amenities as well.
Oh, one of my questions was going to be how close the clubs are together. So only a mile.
Only a mile apart. Yes, kind of on different sides of downtown Houston, but we're taking up the whole area.
Well, fantastic. Looks like you got the market cornered down there.
We do.
So you'd mentioned the kids club and the families. What are you doing to attract families to the club? I know that's a big trend in 2024, 2023. It's no longer just dad taking off and having a couple cocktails after playing tennis, right? It's mom, the kids, grandma, everybody's coming.
Correct. So we used to have more of the kind of corporate membership and less families. So we still have a lot of families and juniors with our tennis programming as well as our squash and racquetball. After COVID, downtown Houston kind of got very quiet. We still remain pretty quiet on the office side of things. And we focused more on kind of the community who lived closer to downtown, which of course attracted more of the families, the younger generation, and a lot of children, moms, not so much just the dad scene anymore. We have a wonderful kids club where, any children from 6 months old through about 12 can come stay in our kids club. The parents can work out, take a tennis lesson. We do a lot of great summer camps and holiday camps. So anywhere from sports, basketball, we've incorporated pickleball, which of course is booming at the moment. But we have a great opportunity for indoor summer camps whenever Houston hits those triple digit numbers, which is a very big ask of a lot of our community.
I used to live in Dallas, and it used to get hot in Dallas, but not so humid. From what I understand, Houston's about 5-10 degrees hotter and humid.
Yeah, so 10 indoor tennis courts right now are definitely a premium.
I bet. So you had mentioned that from anywhere from toddlers on up to 12 is like the sweet spot for kids. I have a 13-year-old son myself, and he's sporty. He would love the basketball court. But what are you doing, or are you doing anything that's maybe attracting that 13 to 17, 18-year-old kid? Is it sports? Is it getting them involved in racquetball and tennis and such?
It is. So sports is definitely a big one. We do a lot of teen orientations for that teenager who hasn't really been on a fitness floor or hasn't been able to really begin working out. And we have a lot of kind of that age group who are playing tennis, who are playing other sports, and their parents want them to be able to come to a very family friendly community style club, not so much more like your kind of one off other clubs that are overcrowded, maybe doesn't have the supervision or the personal trainers to kind of keep an eye out and overlook for the children and the teenagers. So we do a lot of classes for teens that take a look at kind of introducing them to all of the equipment, kind of the safety precautions, and involving them in a lot of our kind of group class trainings where they meet all the personal trainers, they get to experience the fitness floor, they feel comfortable kind of asking for help or being able, to come visit the club once they're 16, 17 and able to drive here on their own. And their parents feel a lot more comfortable knowing that they are in this type of facility.
Now, you probably touched upon a lot of this next question, but I wanted to see if we can dig down a little bit. COVID was tough on city clubs, restaurants, a lot of that kind of stuff, indoor facilities. Golf was a boom. People loved getting outside. What did you do? Obviously, you've made it through. Congratulations, you're on the other
Thank
side.
you. Yeah.
And so, what are you doing to now retain the people who've stayed loyal, who've stayed at the club? And you want to keep them there. Obviously, you want to give them everything they can possibly have. So anything special you're doing to retain your members?
So one of the kind of best traits that we have here at the Downtown Club. So this club was founded in 1976. Some of our employees have even been here for 30 plus years, 40 plus years. Unlike most fitness facilities and tennis facilities, we have that very country club feel. So we make sure that all of our members feel like they are missing out if they're not here at the club, or feel like they are part of our social events that we host. We do a lot of kind of group opportunities for them to meet other members and kind of make sure that they don't get overlooked and they're very involved and they feel a part of the club. We have a very family feel throughout the club with our members as well as our staff. And we, after COVID, memberships did slow down a lot. Downtown is still not close to being back to what it was, once all the companies kind of left and went to that work from home model. We still have a lot that are hybrid workers. So we took the opportunity to kind of focus on the members that we have as well as selling new memberships to make sure that we were listening to, what they were looking for in the club, what they were hoping that we brought on. We have updated our fitness floor alone. We've added a great stretch and recovery area. We've added a recovery room. So the cold plunge, the infrared sauna, the red light therapy, we are making sure that our members see the effort that we're putting in, and they also feel like they're as much as a community as they can be, where we're not just a fitness facility where you walk in, work out, and
That's great. One-stop shop for everything then.
yes. And we do have the benefits, of course, for the other country clubs. We have, X Life, where they can add that onto their membership and have complimentary or discounted green fees at our local or even US, invited clubs for golf as well.
Yeah, it's a huge bonus being part of the
Yes.
under the invited umbrella, I suppose.
It is very nice. And plus it's helpful when we have a lot of individuals and members who have moved to another city, another state. And fortunately for invited, we have so many clubs that we can do that warm introduction and kind of that magic moment, which is what we refer to it at invited, where if there is a club, which there normally is, where they're moving, we put them in touch with that club's membership director, their general manager, and normally they end up transferring and being able to stay in the family.
That's terrific. Hey, I'll get you out on this one. Crystal ball time. Looking into your crystal ball, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, what do you see at the downtown clubs and maybe the industry as a whole? Anything that you can see into the future?
So I know, I'm sure you're aware, but we, the new trends, clearly our recovery room, more of a focus on stretching and recovery, our, healthy eating items and our kind of meal prep is something that our members have a lot of interest in, and that is a big ask. Pickleball, we brought in pickleball. We have a center club is more of our private event space, and we're looking into bringing in more pickleball opportunity because we currently have those courts on our basketball court. We run leagues, we offer a lot of clinics and socials, and we don't have enough space. We are, our members are so interested not only in our tennis courts, which 10 indoor tennis courts in Houston is, like I said, a pretty hot thing to have. So us focusing more on utilizing the courts that we have for that tennis member compaction, when we do come across that point. Our group programming is amazing. Our members love being able to meet other members who are around their level, who are interested in the same type of, like visiting the club. This is their me time. They're happy to be here. This is their escape, and we try to do everything in our power to make sure that they're always happy and that they know we're listening for things that they're looking for here in our community.
Wow, thank you, Alicia, for your introspective, and I would love to hear more going forward. But that's enough for our time right now. Thank you again for joining us, and hope to talk to you soon.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.